Okay.
One of the truest things that like I read from Joe Dispenza is how much harder it is to meditate like during the day when your brain's like beta waves are like real high,
Mm,
and it's so much easier in the morning at night to get into, and like he says, to get into like that real trance state where you can like
mm.
make change and change your energy. It's better when you're in that like alpha waves, which are sleep time waves.
Yeah, okay. You're more relaxed.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was, I'll be tired today, so it's actually, I've had some good meditation. So like now, I thought you used to have like coffee before.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, I'm tired. Yes, that's good. My
Yeah.
brain's not going to be going psycho while I'm meditating.
How good. That's funny
Yeah.
because I can't remember where I read it, but like during sleep, your kind of the idea is that the mind is safe, right? Because you're asleep and it shuts down a lot of it and it
Mm.
rests. And a part of that thinking is that the ego turns off,
Ah,
which means you're more connected to your soul and your unconscious in a way.
yeah,
So the idea is that when you're like, if you
yeah,
related that to that scenario, like the more relaxed you are,
yeah,
the easier it is to hit that trance state of
yeah. Break
being
through it.
outside of your ego. Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Dispenza calls it like the analytical part of your brain. And
Mm,
yeah, to break through to that creation part, you have to,
mm,
that's like the guard in between, isn't it? Like the analytical. So yeah, like you said, it's a lot easier to,
mm. Do it when you're restful. Agreed.
yeah, that's
Agreed.
cool.
Yeah. Um, I've started recording. Welcome to episode 7.
7, wow.
Yeah, we're cracking through them.
Feels like it's been ages.
Yeah,
It's been
it's
like
been
3 weeks
ages. Yeah, since we've sat down and spoken
and recorded it.
and recorded it. Yeah, we've had some conversations in between.
Had some deep chats.
Had some deep chats. Yeah, some family time, which was nice.
Yeah.
Um, I think start. Um, Obviously, sometimes good. I think to involve the audience when we start is a good play. Um, and I think just opening it up once again to the audience and um, sharing any, I guess, vulnerabilities with us that you may be struggling with or something, and if a way we can help. We also want to share a direction for this podcast of eventually getting people on because I don't know about you, but I think there's some real beauty in sharing your voice. I know it's helped me a
Mhm.
lot. Just like David G talks about a lot, just like finding your voice, and there's just something fulfilling about sharing um, your story and what goes through your head, and yeah, it's a real relating thing. So please hit us up if you would be interested in coming on. I think, or even just sharing your story, and yeah, we would be very open to that.
Tell your story.
Tell your story. Find your voice. Find your voice. I didn't think it would be so impactful on my life just talking into a screen to my brother, but holy,
Weird, right?
yeah, has it sparked some
Just
transformation in my
truth,
life?
man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Being able to tell the truth
yeah,
makes a massive difference.
mm,
It's like a weight's gone off your shoulders.
yeah, yeah. And it's
This is
scary,
who
but
I
it's
am. I can't hide.
yeah, it's scary, but it's where the gold is, right?
Mm.
It's where the gold is. Cool. Should we get into today?
Yeah, and I just think with that, like
Mm,
you talked about compassion,
yeah,
and it's that if you do want to share some vulnerabilities or something with us, and we can just we'll just hold space. Like
yeah.
that's all we do for each other in this podcast. We just chat. We don't really know anything. We just chat and hold space, and
Mm,
we're all on this human experience together. So why
mm,
not do it together?
mm. Hold hands and jump off the cliff together, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the relief. Yeah, the relief when you realize, well, one, you told your truth and you're not alone, I think has, yeah, changed my life. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, right? The connection. You're not alone.
yeah.
Find your back.
So we're doing meditation today,
We are. Yes.
also known as attention and energy.
Yeah. Focusing, right? Practice.
Yeah,
The
attention training.
practice. Attention training.
Yeah,
The
I think
practice.
if we can take me and you obviously love the spiritual rabbit holes and
Mm.
like connect with that way of, because I think that belief for us gives us the meaning and helps us in our lives. But I know that would be different for everyone.
Mm.
So like I just wanted to say that meditation doesn't have to be a spiritual practice. Doesn't
Mm.
have, there's no religious connotations to a lot of meditations, and you can find a guided meditation that's for you, no matter how long. Like you could try. There's tens of thousands of different meditations, guided or non-guided. Do what you want, but at the end of the day, the best thing I heard, I think you said it the other day, is that our attention has to go somewhere. We've all got
Mm.
energy, and our attention goes somewhere, and meditation is just a practice that allows you to practice putting your attention where you want it to.
Mm.
It's an attention training.
Yeah.
95% of our lives are lived subconsciously. So we're like, I like to see it as like a program that's just running like a computer. It's just running
Mm.
software. And 95% of that is unconscious, which means that we don't get to choose what's happening. So our brain will automatically put attention on whatever things, which is usually surviving in safety, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and whatever that is for you, your inner child, whatever it is. So meditation gives you the ability to practice your attention. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. If you're focused on fear and hate, guilt, and shame, that's how you'll feel.
Yeah.
Where your attention, so meditation just gives you that little bit of space to go, no, I want to focus on
Mm.
love, or I want to focus on
Mm.
creating this thing, or yeah, so it's just an attention training for me. And
Yeah.
I think there's so much distraction now with our phones and everything. I think we
Yeah.
need to do this. And
Yeah.
I didn't meditate yesterday, and my whole energy was different. I could tell you I was not in
Yeah.
creation mode. It was in survival mode, which is just my old programming, right?
Yeah.
And to change that programming, you need to be conscious. You need to be able to put your attention towards something new. And you don't get to do that unless you can put your attention towards something.
Yeah. Agreed. And it's that focus and distraction, right? Like, if you want to get anything in your life, you have to be focused. Like, you have to put your energy towards that thing for an extended period of time and in
It's
an
all
environment.
energy.
It's all energy, and you have to focus it like, even like doing anything, achieving anything in life or growing, you know, takes you putting your energy, your focus in like one lane, right, for more more time than not, I think. And when you're like, even just take reading a book, right? If you're reading a book and your intention is to read that book and you just pick up your phone every 5 seconds, like you can't
Mm,
read that book because you're constantly being
mm.
distracted.
Your attention somewhere else.
Your attention somewhere else, and it's just all about, all meditation does for me is just, I'm reading that book and then I get that impulse to check my phone, but I catch that impulse and I don't check my phone,
Mm,
and that's all, like, and the focus is on the book,
mm.
like that's, yeah, and that's pretty much all it is for me.
Little bit of space.
A little bit of space for you to catch that drifting,
Yeah.
that
I think
drifting
that's
away from what
so
you want.
powerful, man, because if you can do those little bits, like you don't check your
Mm.
phone, you're reading a little bit longer,
Mm.
or one, you're improving your attention
Mm.
because you're training it, it's like a muscle.
Yeah.
And then you're also putting your energy into something that you wanted to learn instead of a
Yeah.
distraction.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. Like,
So powerful, especially when like so much of the world right now is instant gratification, right? Like so much of the world is just like
Dopamine. Yeah.
quick hit dopamine, and you can get that whenever you want. Like you can
Yeah.
get that whenever you want. But if you want to achieve anything like fulfilling, I don't know about you, but I don't feel that fulfilled after engaging in instant gratification. So
No.
it's just the nature of it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
fleeting, it's instant, it's small, it's fleeting. So if you want anything large, fulfilling, and lasting, it's going to take that focus. And yeah, and
Yeah.
meditation does that, I think.
Yeah. And Joe Rogan talks about that a lot. Hey, like doing the hard things. Like
Mm.
I know Joe Rogan says some controversial things, but he
Yeah.
does hard things, man. He puts himself in
Yeah.
hard situations, which are not short-term gratification. It's long-term,
Yeah.
isn't it? And then meditation is exactly that. If you can sit with yourself for 20 minutes and just be with your senses and with your thoughts and keep coming back, it's not instant gratification, but
Mm.
you will notice the difference. I guarantee it. It's impossible not to.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's just you can't be in your head when you're like in the world. And if you do a
Mm.
meditation, it's even just breath work. If you're just focusing on your breath, you
Mm.
can't be in your head, right? You're in the body. If you close your eyes and just listen to the name five sounds you can hear. You know,
Mm.
this is one of the simplest things you can do during your day is just close your eyes because we've got five senses, right? But 80% of our sense is sight. So if your eyes are open, our attention goes to that 80% of the time. It's
Mm.
such a powerful sense. You're not hearing if you're your eye or like how often do we use taste or smell
Mm.
throughout the day if we're not eating or anything like that? Like we don't use, so we really need to like, it's powerful when you like close your eyes and like try to smell things around you because it takes a lot of attention to do that.
Yeah.
And you can't be thinking about if you're overwhelmed or stressed, I guarantee you it'll bring you out of that because you can't not like
Mm.
it's like where your attention goes, that's where your energy flows. Like if you're sitting there in your head analyzing like I do every single thing,
Mm.
like that's where your energy goes towards, isn't it? It's gonna
Yep.
try to solve a problem based on
Exactly.
from a place of stress and worry,
Yeah.
like, um, but yeah, I think meditation just unlocks so much potential,
Yeah.
um, because you're not stuck in that known programming.
Mm.
To change your programming, you have to be aware.
Mm.
Meditation gives you the ability to be aware, and then you have to be able to focus your attention on something else. And we've talked about that a little bit when we did intention and alchemy, but
Mm.
um, yeah,
Agreed. I love the eye thing. When you're, can we for a second take this into like being, so when you're in a meditation, um, all right, let's start with this question. When you're in a meditation, you close your eyes, you start breathing. Are you in a different state than you were a few seconds ago?
yeah.
Can you describe that state?
I think for me, because um, like even environment's a different thing. When I sit down in my meditation where I meditate, because my body knows that's the environment where I meditate, I think I just instantly relax.
Yeah.
So I can literally feel like my shoulders go down.
Yeah.
Um, I can feel like the energy run through my fingers.
Mm.
I can feel my legs on the chair.
Mm.
I can feel the wind.
Mm.
I can feel that the fan's on right now. And it's just simple.
Yeah. 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 So you're with your senses, right? And you're feeling and you're here and you're
Mm,
present.
yeah. It's just a bit of a break from the constant thought cycles that I get
Yeah.
stuck in if I don't sit
Yeah.
and stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you reckon you would be able to? access that state of mind outside of your meditation room? And do you often?
Yeah. But like again, environment I think is a powerful thing. So I sit in my work office.
Mm,
I'm so used to being in maybe a high stress state there.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and it's usually during the day, which is when my
mm,
brain is probably at its highest
yeah,
cycles,
yeah,
which is I mean it's very analytic and it's very
mm,
so I that one I used before where I close my eyes and I name it's I just go 5 4 3 2 1 like 5 sounds I hear, 4 things
mm,
I see, like different colors in my eyelids,
mm,
3 things that I feel, 2 things I can taste, and 1 thing I can smell
mm.
is something I do quite regularly daily when I'm
Yeah,
sitting at
cool.
work
Yeah.
because it's just when I'm yeah, same like when I see my meditation chair, it's instant relax. When I sit in that chair, it's instant stress.
The opposite. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
environment.
been,
Our bodies know environment, don't they?
yeah, yeah. And they know when it feels safe.
Yeah.
I've been doing that like before I walk into work, and it's a cool feeling how it
Mm,
like, yeah, it just brings you back a bit, right? And then, but then, yeah, just as soon as I would enter the building, just,
yeah. It's
yeah,
those little moments of peace that if you look back through your
yeah,
day, you remember that, don't you? You don't
yeah,
remember closing your
mm,
eyes and going into unconscious mode and doing your work, do you?
yeah. And you remember the feelings, you remember the smells,
Yeah.
and
And
what
that's what
energy was
life is,
around
isn't
you.
it?
Yeah, those
Yeah,
small
little
moments.
moments in time.
Yeah. And getting them in a conversation,
Mm,
I think, is the most special thing. Just getting that like intuition to just breathe and just
mm,
truly listen for for a second and not just work on your response and not just try and look cool or whatever and just listen to the words that are coming out of the other person's mouth. I love those moments. That makes it like so worth it. Like I would put so much time into practice and practice for years just to get some of those moments more often.
yeah. Well, we listen to reply, don't we? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's the way our brain works because we need to reply to fit in. We need to like,
yeah.
but like you said, man, when you just have that little bit of awareness to go,
Mm,
take a breath,
mm,
and because when you do that, you know you're present because you're not in
mm,
your head because that's like a part of you that's like pause.
yeah. Take a breath.
Yeah, and
And it
then you
does
go
have.
into your body and you just have like this.
Mm,
It's almost surreal. Like, because
mm,
then you're like, you look up and you're like, I'm actually talking to someone. Like, there's real things around me. Like, I can see, feel,
yeah.
hear things. Like, and it's just such a, it seems so simple, but like,
Mm,
it is just, it's relaxation, isn't it? It's like,
mm,
it's a break from stress, worry, shame, guilt, anxiety,
mm,
frustration, anger.
mm,
It's,
mm.
and like, yeah, it's just so worth it for
Yeah.
even 5 seconds of that.
Yeah, agree. Because it doesn't last long, especially for me. Like, because I'll be like really listening to someone, and then my brain will just be like, "Holy shit!" Like, I seriously can hear what they're saying, and then I'm straight away just back analyzing it. Like, and it's just that constant cycle. I don't think there's any getting rid of that. Like, I think that's gonna be around forever. Um,
But that's the
yeah,
practice, isn't it? Like
yeah,
that's why we do it. Like it might be hours of meditation just for that little moment.
for that little moment. Yeah.
But it's
Um,
you probably don't realize the impact it has on a lot of other things. Like we might just get that little moment of awareness and but you're probably just flowing better. Like your brain's I kind of think of it as like sweeping out like taking a broom and just sweeping out the shit of your brain.
I
So
love
that
that.
so then
Yes.
there's space just to have good stuff, the stuff you
Yeah.
want in there. Like you said before, like just gives you the ability to choose what you want to focus on.
Mm,
And even if it is for that moment is where you could decide to go to one direction instead of
mm,
another. It's like what we choose. Like, what do you choose? Fear or love? You know
mm,
what I mean? Like, are you going to go down the path where I'm going to avoid this because I'm scared? or am I going to follow what I want to do and create or do something, have a conversation, or you know, do something? And it can be one moment in time that changes everything. And it's just cultivating that, isn't it? Meditation is just like it's like going to the gym and exercising your body and working out, and because then you feel better during the day, don't you? Like you might not notice right then that you've got a six pack or you got bigger muscles or anything like that, but it's not even about that. It's about feeling better. Like you need your body to move, and we need our brains to focus on what we want it to focus on. And it's
Yep.
about it
In
not
those
being our
moments.
master. Yeah, it's about the mind being our tool that we use, not
Yep.
we're the tool and it's the master.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. I love the broom sweeping. That's the I do that like that's like I haven't done that in a while, but that's what I used to like when I first started meditating. Is it was a big thing for me. Like if I just had a thought that would just stay around in my
Mm,
mind, I would literally just like picture, like vision everything being swept out of out of the
yeah,
mind and starting again. And
it's
and like
powerful.
it works. Yeah. So that's funny that you bring that up. I wonder where that's from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm,
But it's always been hard for me to talk about meditation with people because
mm,
it changed my life. It's probably what, people talk about waking up and, these big spiritual things, but like, I don't remember much before I started meditating.
mm,
Like, I was genuinely just in survival robot mode all the time.
yep.
And, and that's what you do when you're young, right? You're just surviving. But when I was like 18, 19, 20, I was just when you have the ability to start choosing what you want to do with your life and you got all these choices and
Mm,
there's so many distractions and influences and there's no real routine and structure in your life anymore. Like I just close my eyes and
mm,
hope for the best. I don't like
yeah.
I just wanted to be distracted all the time because I didn't want to feel how I was feeling,
Yeah.
which was shit all the time.
Yeah.
And I just remember getting so anxious, like really, really bad anxiety,
Mm,
um, at that time. And it ended up, um, I ended up I remember the day, like having a panic attack. And then that's when
oh,
I read a book called The Miracle Morning. I don't know if I've talked about this on here yet, but, and it was just like get up an hour earlier, meditate, exercise, read, and there was one other thing. You did four things. But anyway, that's what started me with meditation.
mm,
And that was, yeah, probably 10 years ago now. And my life has been infinitely better.
mm,
Like I can't comprehend. And it's a lot of things, but like you said, it's that cultivation over time. Hey, it's those little
mm,
moments where I'll be more present in my relationships. I
yeah.
haven't avoided particular things. Like
Yeah.
I'm not as anxious. So I'm like doing things I'm doing things that are better for me, you know what I
Mm,
mean? Which then manifest into other things and you know,
yeah.
and it just manifests, right? It
Yep.
just builds and builds and builds. And then all of a sudden you start to get belief in yourself and you start
Mm,
having conversations about something and then leads to something else. And it's just, I don't know, man. Like I got to a tipping point where I needed to do it. And I'm
yeah.
so grateful that it was at
Yep.
a young age.
Mm,
And it's just, I've always struggled to tell people that because for me, it's just such an easy decision.
mm,
Because once you've seen the other side,
mm,
once you've felt the relief of just sitting there with your thoughts and not
mm,
not being controlled by them
mm,
and just being so free and just listening to the birds and just like
mm,
looking outside, just being so peaceful. It's just peace, man.
mm,
Because what are we chasing? Like for me, I was sold on the idea that alcohol equals relaxation, right?
mm,
When a day off, like on the Saturday, you go have a drink because you've been working hard all week. And
mm,
that's what we're looking for, aren't we? We're looking for some type of distraction.
yep.
Like, for me anyway, like it's associated, I think alcohol is relaxation, but it's not.
Mm,
Like that's sold in movies, it's sold in marketing, it's sold, and I'm not like blaming alcohol for my problems, but I was looking for that. You know what I mean? I was looking for an escape from my anxiety and my stress and my life.
Mm.
And the solution was less, not more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sit.
Sit and not escape it, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think everyone has a point where, that's what the midlife crisis is, right?
Mm.
Where distraction no longer works
Mm.
and something has to change or
Mm.
it doesn't and you close your eyes forever and your life's over,
Mm.
you know? I'm just very grateful it happened to me at a
Mm.
young age.
Yeah. Yeah. Finding that place within, um, I think seriously, like even in that meditation that we just did before, Ram Dass explains it as just some continuity.
Mm,
Like I access this place when I shut my eyes and I breathe of just like it's the same as the last time I shut my eyes and breathe, right? It's always it's the one
mm,
thing in me that doesn't change like everything else because it always just is what it is, I guess. And to come back to that place, like it does learn. I think it definitely learns, but it just always has the same set of values and morals, it feels like values and morals. Like it just feels like it's so I think to explain it better, I might say where I go, like in some meditations. So I will shut my eyes and I will start to breathe and I will focus on my body, what's going on in my body. And then um, that one meditation we just did before where you enter your heart. And if I enter that area in my chest for long enough, I will start to, like, my body's still working, thoughts are still going, but I'm still in my heart and I can see the thoughts from an outside perspective. And Joe Dispenza talks about this and calls it metacognition, I think is what I relate to it. And it's just about seeing the thoughts from, but not being the thoughts. And that's from that place, there is always just this sense of love and like you can approach those thoughts with a sense of like it's so much easier. Like if I'm telling myself that, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and I'm caught up in that thing, and then I'm like, oh, like I really shouldn't have done that. I'm a piece of shit. And then I go to my heart space, right? I can see that action and I can see that thought and I can be like, I'm a human. I make mistakes. That action doesn't define me. Like it's just an instant switch. And that just, yeah, I don't know, that sense of, I don't know how to give it a word, but it's like just a knowing,
mm,
like a wisdom to, once you pull yourself outside of, or see, and I guess that's awareness, right? Once you see it, it's just so much easier to give it love and compassion.
the observer.
The observer, yeah. And I find that very, very nice to go into and like just sitting at the back of my body and watching everything forward or something like that. Like I find that very
Mm,
nice. And then yeah, and where does this wisdom come from, right? Like where because it's not the thing that's going around my brain 24/7. Like I promise you, like it's something
mm,
else telling me
mm.
it'll be okay. And it's just the ego being the ego, and it's just life. Like, and you're just a human, and like all that stuff, and nothing seems to matter.
Simple.
Simple, man. So simple.
I think when we when we feel a certain way and we're looking for something to escape that or solve that or distract ourselves from feeling that way, we're coming at it with the same mind that is feeling that already, telling us we're feeling that way. So like we might be anxious about something or stressed or worried about work. And then, oh, how can I get out of that? But that question I just asked myself is from the same mind that is experiencing that problem already. And it's just a big circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
How am I going to get out of that is just adding to the stress.
Mm.
It's the same mind.
Yep. And there's that. I don't know where I heard it, but I think it's in one of the meditations I'm listening to at the moment, and they describe the mind talks to itself about itself to itself. And that creates the illusion of this Jarrod character exists.
Yeah.
And it just reinforces it constantly. Because Jarrod talks to Jarrod about Jarrod in his mind.
Yeah.
Literally all the fucking time.
Yeah. And it's like internal family systems, right? And I think we'll talk about that one day. And there's different parts of the mind. Yeah. But you're right, there is also something outside of that.
Yeah.
That we can cultivate.
Otherwise we wouldn't be able to experience it.
Exactly. Yeah. There is something that is experiencing.
Yeah.
How do you know you're thinking? What is, and if people don't believe that there's something else there outside of the mind, then I don't know. You haven't had any awareness ever, but I think everyone has had a moment when they're like, just watch their thoughts and mean like, that's not me. Like, why am I stressing right now? But it's so much easier to access that place you're talking about when you just, the only way I've found to really access it is to stop and go into the heart or to the body and meditate.
Yeah, because we live up there. We literally live up there 98% of the time. It's our safe place. It's where we survive. When you're meditating and you awareness, right? And you feel like you move your awareness to your heart space. Do you feel like you are your heart space, or do you feel like you are watching your heart space? Or just like take any sense. Your feet on the floor.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that from another point of view than your feet being on the floor?
I think I'm just trying to feel it, like, and like while I'm doing that, I can almost feel like a bit of energy in my head, not attaching to thoughts. I don't know, like I don't know, I like close my eyes and I like just start by listening to my heartbeat. And then it goes to, I can feel the blood move to different parts of my body. So I can feel it moving through my hands and my fingers and my feet. And I kind of just like let it all pulse and I feel my whole body.
Is there space there between
you
and your heart beating?
When I'm really focused on it and I'm feeling it, I don't think I'm like fully in the body. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like all I'm doing is heartbeat, beat.
Yeah. Beat. See, I think when I first step into awareness, I watch it from a different place. Like I can feel my heart beating and I can see my heart beating, but I'm not my heart beating. But I think we've talked about this before, and you talk about someone who talks about sight a lot. And sight's different for me because I feel like I can be in sight completely.
Yeah, okay.
Not in the way that I can be in my heart completely.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can see fully and only be in sight. But
It's such a cultivated sense though. Like I said before, like we use sight 80% of the time.
yeah,
Like I feel like it's, I don't know, is that what you mean? Like you can really, when you think sight, I can really see things.
like I am just sight.
Yeah, but when you think like smell and you just smell, it's probably a lot harder.
Mm. Yeah,
Is that,
I'm not smell. I'm
yeah.
smelling.
See, I've done a meditation for quite a long time now where
Mm.
I do the five senses every day.
Yeah.
So I have practiced, I guess and again, these themes of meditation change for me every time. Like my
Mm.
practice changes for what I need all the
Mm.
time. Like,
Yeah.
and I used to attach to like meditating a certain way or like I don't even know what happens anymore, man. I just know
Mm.
I need to sit until I let go. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how I get there.
Yeah.
And if I'm really distracted, one of the best ways I've learned is that practicing the five senses.
Yeah.
And whether that's even just starting as like counting the things you can see, like counting 10
Yeah.
different colors in the room, or if you close your
Mm.
eyes, one I've really cultivated. Like you look at someone that's blind,
Mm.
they're, and Huberman literally talked about this in his last podcast with Joe Rogan. Is like dogs' ability to have greater, like a lot of dogs' ability to have greater sense than us, smell, isn't necessarily that their nose is that much stronger or their smell's that much stronger, but they rely on it a lot more. So they'll sniff a lot more.
Mm.
And then that'll
Mm.
cultivate, because they don't have the same sight that we do. We have powerful vision, so we use vision a lot more.
Mm.
Whereas they will, have stronger smell because they sniff like 10 times more than us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They focus on it. It's where their attention goes. So then they
Yeah.
have stronger sense of smell.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like how often
Mm.
do we really use smell for us?
Yeah.
And
Not
just
often.
smell, you know what I mean? Like if your eyes are
Yeah.
open, you're using your eyes.
Yeah.
You're looking. It's a
Mm.
very strong, powerful sense, isn't it?
Mm.
And your attention can't go to all five senses at once.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
want to fully be in one, you have to fully be in one.
Yeah.
And that's why I love just closing my eyes and just
Mm.
going into sound.
Yeah.
It's because it's so hard. Because you
Yeah.
wanna you wanna like feeling. I feel like it's all right because I like the feeling the
Mm.
heartbeat and like my body move and the different things. But going into real sound is where I can get really present because
Mm.
I have to shut everything else and just listen to sound,
Mm.
which is cool. Like
Yeah.
you don't realize how powerful your sound is until you
Mm.
have no idea what you're listening to until you like
Mm.
shut
The
all your other
music.
senses off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is cool
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Great.
simple.
So simple. Um.
And that's like as simple as a meditation practice can be. Like it's just
Yeah.
sitting and doing
Mm.
some breath work,
Mm.
like counting your
That's the
breath.
simplest one, man.
Yeah,
Hey. Four in, four
5 minutes.
hold, four out,
If you're
four
skeptical,
hold.
yeah, the
Do
16
it.
cycle. Yeah,
Yep. Box
close your
breathing.
eyes, box breathing, do it for
Hmm.
5 minutes, 6 minutes next week, 7 minutes next week.
Yep.
See if it changes it. It might not. Again, it's a long-term play, isn't it? It might not
Yep.
change your life in today,
Yep.
but over time you'll cultivate
Yep.
awareness. And that's
And you'll show up.
scientific, man.
Yep. Mm.
Like where your energy goes, you'll start to cultivate a little bit of awareness in your body and
Yep.
your mind and just
Yep.
not get sucked. Because like people think like, oh, so I've meditated for 10 years, man. Like
Mm.
like up to like, I can sit for an hour
Mm.
easily now. Like I've been able to do that. But if I don't meditate yesterday, I'm in my thoughts all day. It's not like it's 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 not like it stays like it does in little bits. Like if I have my practice, but you need to practice it. It's a practice.
Yep.
And I just think having a practice is so important because it's like when you're stressed, overwhelmed, everything's breaking down, what do you go back to?
Yep. I agree. And it can be as simple as just like buttering your toast,
Yeah.
right? But just butter your toast. Like, don't think about buttering your toast. Like, just smell, feel, eat every morning.
And the
and coming
simpler it is, the more
yeah,
powerful it usually is,
the
hey?
more powerful it usually is, because you just come from that place of that we described before, that continuity, that
Like even now
space
that you just said
outside of
that thought, man, like I just had a sip of tea and I didn't even taste it. Now
yeah.
I'm like, I just want to like, now that I sipped it and I tasted it, it's like, wow.
Mm,
Like,
mm,
and that's the difference between being unconscious and conscious, isn't it? When you do
mm,
something like,
yeah,
I just had a
and it
whole
has
different experience from the same exact thing that I did. Pick up my teacup, put it in my mouth. Like,
yeah, and your mind's in control. Like if you um your mind is in control, and it will tell the body. Like if you're having a sip of tea or eating some food, and you're thinking about I don't know, a car crash you saw on the news, right? Your body's not going to be preparing for digesting some tea or eating some food. It's got to be fucking preparing for a car crash. Like, and that's, yeah. Do you want to start your day from a place of stress, or do you want to start your day from a
mm,
place of enjoyment and
yeah,
joy and just good butter on bread?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You see the world through a different lens.
Yeah.
Like, if you start your day rushed and hectic and you turn on the news and you're distracted, you're looking at your phone
Mm,
from the moment you're waking up,
mm,
like, as soon as you look at your phone, man, you're judging yourself compared to
mm,
everyone else. And
mm.
you might see something. And if you, people that check their emails as soon as they wake up, if I looked at my emails as soon as I woke up, I would be in hyper
Yeah.
stress mode, like,
Yeah.
all before I went to bed. Like, I just
Yeah.
can't do it.
Mm,
So I'm seeing the world through that lens for the whole day. You know
mm,
what I mean? Like I'm coming from that place of frustration, anxiety. Like,
mm,
but if I start slow
mm.
and, I wake up an hour and a half earlier than I need to, and I, have a cold shower
Mm,
because one, I'm doing something I didn't want to do.
mm,
I'm like, I can do it,
mm,
and tell my brain straight away, like, I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm
mm.
having a cold shower.
Seriously sets a trajectory, right?
Mhm.
Like it's
And
like
then
you're
if my
aiming in the
brain's
morning.
strong, bang. And we haven't even talked about journaling, but like if my brain's strong, man, and because I journal first,
Mm,
and it's just write out, it's like cleaning the shit out of your brain, isn't it? From
mm,
overnight. Like it's just, I write down a few things. Don't even look at it. Doesn't matter what you say.
mm,
And then sit and meditate. And
mm,
yeah, I just walk into the day
mm,
from a place of peace.
mm, mm.
And, it's like people that get up and exercise early. Like they get
Yeah,
the endorphins early, don't they? And they go about their day with like this energy.
yeah.
It's the same thing. Like you're,
I've cultivated it.
yeah.
Mm.
And it
On
comes
the
from doing hard things and
yeah.
sitting down. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, to me, one of the hardest things I can do when I'm stressed worried is sit down. Like,
Mm.
it's not an easy thing. I'm not trying to tell people, like, yes, we talk about simplicity and
Mm.
it makes things very simple and it's worth it.
I think the hard thing is that it's not a habit,
Yeah.
right? And we're habitual creatures, and it's hard to change that mindset, and that is mind patterns. That's the hard bit.
Yeah. Well, it's either awareness or distraction, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've chosen distraction our whole lives. So
Yeah.
to
We
go
have.
against that,
Yeah.
and you'll still choose like even though I meditate, I still choose distraction all day. So
Mm.
it's like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I don't have, and this is why practice is so important, what that looks
Mm.
like for you, like, and you can add a little reward in there. Like I love having a coffee with it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like that little bit of excitement, my brain knows it's gonna wake
Mm.
up. Like
Yeah.
have a tea or whatever. Like give yourself a little reward to be able to build that habit initially. Anyway, like if I meditate for 5 minutes, then I can do this thing I like, you know, attach that. I
Yeah.
think
Agreed.
there's that book Atomic Habits is really good at explaining those things.
Oh yeah. Um, can we talk about your journaling process? I remember you saying to me a couple years ago, when you write, you really enter in a state um, when you, because when you write like these, because you love writing,
Love it.
and I love reading your writing.
Thank you.
And I can feel that it comes from a very special place
Man,
within you that isn't what you display 90% of the time.
I would
Um,
describe it as not me. Like, I
yeah.
don't know who writes some of the stuff.
Mm. How do you cultivate
And
that?
I think just I remove all distractions
Mm.
and I just sit
Mm.
and yeah, I don't know. I think I'm at a point now where it's just really being honest with myself.
Mm.
Um, and I'll just start to write now, and whatever comes out comes out. But it's
Yeah.
usually like a part of me, that deeper wisdom talking to the
Yeah.
analytical part, like the mind part, I
Mm.
feel. And
The
it's like they're
deeper
having a
wisdom.
conversation. Yeah.
Mm.
And things just resolve themselves, man. I can't explain it. I don't know. I honestly don't know how to
Mm.
explain it. I don't follow journal prompts. There's a time when I did that. I used to even just look at I got like a meditation book. I'd turn to a quote that day and I'd write that and then just write my thoughts on that. That's how I kind of started. I read a book that's like you can even just write down especially if you wake up like flustered or something, just write
Mm.
down all your thoughts, just whatever comes out. Don't look at it. You can scrunch it up and throw it out.
Mm.
And it's just letting that stuff out.
Mm.
Um, but for me, it's just like I can't explain it. Like it's
Mm.
just processing, yeah, that those thoughts that the mind is having
Mm.
and just writing them down. And sometimes you just realize how stupid what you're thinking is. Like
Yeah.
if you like we talked about this the other way, if you wrote the transcript of your brain down,
Mm.
you wrote down every thought, you'd be like, what the like
Mm. Agreed.
so it's just like kind of gives you a different perspective on your thoughts, I think.
Yeah. And you can't do that when you're your thoughts, right? It takes some level of you stepping outside of your thoughts.
Exactly, like it's the awareness of it, then you can see it physically. It
And
becomes real, hey.
it becomes real. And it's so much easier to approach these problems from the
Yeah,
outside.
because then it's not me, hey, it's
It's
just a
not me,
thought.
man. Yeah. And we,
Exactly. I don't get
yeah.
attached to it because it's not me. It's just something I wrote. Like there was just a thought that just came out, and now it's on a piece of paper. Like
Yeah.
it's not me.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right. Like it's just,
Yeah. And
and
that's,
I'll just
yeah.
keep writing until I feel better.
Yeah.
Like some days that's 1 page, some
Yeah.
days that's 10 pages.
Mm.
Like, and the more I do it, yeah, the clearer it gets.
Mm. Those words are meant to be on paper. You're just a conduit.
And like it might be gibberish, man. Like it might
Yeah.
not mean anything.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. It just gives me a freedom. I think I've always struggled to express myself. Like even though we're talking verbally now,
Mm.
I'm not great at specifically getting what I mean. I'm just talking.
Mm.
Like I don't not really expressing perfectly exactly what I mean, but
Mm.
writing things down gives me the ability to process my thoughts
Yeah.
and write what I actually
Mm.
mean. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like something that's
Yeah.
actually meaningful for me, not just a thought.
Yeah. Agreed. I love how much I can see the practice in our conversations. Like just and just like throughout the conversations, me displaying ideas in a way that I would not be able to without the practice. I think
Mm,
um is really cool for me. But anyway, um I think I relate because when I get into my heart space, that's when I find it really simple and easy to separate myself from the thoughts. And when I can separate myself from the
mm,
thoughts, I can separate myself from the actions. And I just become yeah, this viewer that hasn't, that this observer that isn't a victim of all of the past bullshit that he's done. And it's so much easier to change it from that
Can you
perspective and
describe that feeling for me?
of being in my heart space.
Yeah, like letting go, like not being, like you said, not being all those things.
Mm,
Like just letting go of all that and being in your heart space and not
yeah.
seeing yourself as like the victim and all that.
Yeah, it's a place of safety for me. 100%. It's a place where I can,
How does it feel inside you though? Like, describe it to me.
in my heart space, I feel an energy up my sternum, I would say, like right in the center of my chest going up. And I can just sit there,
If
you
you
know,
had to choose an emotion, what, or like a multiple of emotions, what would you describe that feeling as?
just warm, warmth, and like a warm energy, I would say. And that's all I've got.
No,
It's
I'm
just
I'm
warm.
genuinely interested because
Mm,
that thing you just described
mm,
is, I think, what we're all looking for.
mm.
It's just a break
Yeah. Yep.
from that
I,
character we're playing, man.
yeah.
You know what I mean? A break from being that. And one of the truest things I think I ever heard was like Jim Carrey. He
Mm,
said like depression was like deep rest from being
mm,
not who you are, from playing
mm,
this character. Like you're
mm,
playing your all these thoughts, all these emotions, all this guilt, shame, all these memories. They're not you.
yeah.
Like in that
Yeah.
moment, like you said, you're just observing.
Mm, yeah.
And it's like a freedom from being that person, isn't it? It's a break.
Yeah.
It's rest.
Yeah. From
I
the
don't know.
The Gita says, action does not cling to self. The self clings to action. So when like you doing something, okay, just take this for a second. Like you buy someone a coffee, right? That's an action that you've done. You might have just, blown up 1,000 orphanages, but but in that person's mind, like you're like a good person who just did an act of kindness, and that's a self that exists in that person's mind, and so
Mhm.
you in your mind, I think it's very very easy to see your entire life as who you are, when
Mm.
in reality who you are is right now, and what you're saying right now, and like what you're feeling right now, because if we aren't, then we're just stuck.
What else is there?
What else is there, man? Like you're just stuck in this fucking 40 like year loop of this trauma that you experienced when you were came out of the womb. You know what I mean? Like everyone experienced that shit.
Mm.
Like,
But we want to cling to it. We want to
yeah,
clean to a story of who we are, don't
who
we?
we
And that's
are.
based
Yeah,
on past things. And
yeah,
we project on the future to
yeah,
escape how we feel in the past.
yeah,
And we
yeah.
constantly live. It's like I said that meditate thing in the two worlds. Like there's two worlds we live in,
Mm,
and there's one of my meditations say like I can't remember what it is exactly, but it's so elegantly put. It's like um, the past is no more,
mm,
the future's not promised.
mm,
All you have is this moment.
yeah,
And the death, reflecting on death is a powerful reminder of that.
mm,
I think
yeah,
like however you get there, like this is all we have.
yeah. And this is a tiny blimp, bro. Like the universe has been around for billions of years.
Yeah.
We're gone.
Yeah.
We're gone, just like that. So in
And I
this
think
moment, what can you give love wise and kindness wise, the rest doesn't
Mm.
matter. The rest does not matter.
And that's where, like, I think belief is so powerful when we've lost something spiritually in ourselves, is that
Mm,
when you have faith and trust,
mm,
you're not constantly living in the past, are you? Because
mm,
you trust that whatever happened happened for a
mm,
reason. Just put you right here, right now, where you are. You
yeah,
never had any control of it. It's
yeah,
perfect as it is.
yeah,
So that even though that's just a thought, I think that's a powerful thought to have and
yeah,
believe in
yeah,
because you're not in the past anymore. And same
yeah,
with the future. Trust. If I believe in trust,
yeah,
everything happens exactly how it's meant to happen.
yeah,
I can be here right now
yeah,
and I can focus on love and doing things that I want to do and create, and
yeah,
instead of focusing on fear, because we're living in when we live in the past or the future, we're living in a fearful world, aren't we?
yeah,
Because and that's it's not an easy thing to get out of that. That's what our minds want to do
yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's so if like that that's why I asked you like that warmth you felt like what if
Mm,
I could bottle one feeling
mm,
and because that's you described it so well like you're not you're here and that's
mm,
all there is. And
mm,
it's just the simplicity of that is just like the biggest relief in the world.
mm.
Like you're not who you thought you were.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's okay.
yeah,
Everything's okay.
yeah.
And that realization, if I could put that in a bottle
Mm.
and give it to everyone,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
said, this is what meditation is,
yeah.
I think everyone would take that and it'd be
Mm.
greater than any drug in the world.
Yeah.
And they'd all start meditating tomorrow.
Yeah, agreed.
It's just
That's beautiful.
peace, man. It's just you're just so
Mm,
at peace.
mm,
It's okay.
yep. And that loving self, right? I can approach myself with so much love
And
when I'm separate from my thoughts.
you can tell yourself it's okay and I am loved and I've got all these things. But if you don't feel it, if you're not
Mm,
present, it doesn't matter. It's just words. It's just more
mm,
thoughts.
mm. Yeah. That's been a big thing, I think, for us because we're not natural feelers. Am I speaking accurately there for you too?
No, yeah, you're right. It's not in our natural programming, but
Yeah.
we're rewriting like our
Mm,
code, aren't we?
mm.
Because
So yeah, this heart thing for me is very new and just feels yeah, because all I am is feeling. Like all I'm doing is feeling, and it literally alters how I view things,
mm.
which is just not does not line up with the programming at all. You know what I
And
mean?
it's
Like
like
the brain's like, how are you doing stuff without me? You know what I mean? There's another like, I guess, energy in me that isn't the analytical brain, and it's the heart. And I'm sure there's others that I'm yet to find, and I'm so excited for that. That's a cool feeling.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it's like when you have that feeling of this is all I have right now in this moment,
Mm,
why would you wanna not be in the heart? Like
mm,
there's nothing else.
mm,
So why like one of the meditations I do, it's like really like he's really good at saying it, but it gets you in the zone where you're like imagine if like you had no past memories
mm,
and you really have to concentrate. Like you close your eyes and like go deep into your head because you're forgetting who you
mm,
are and your
mm,
eyes are closed and then that there's no future, right? You're just born.
mm,
All that there is your senses then.
mm,
So I don't even know what I look like. All I know is I can feel this energy run through my hands, that there's this weird feeling on my back, which is,
mm.
I don't even know it's a chair. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what I look like. It's such a crazy meditation, man. I love it. Like, it just, yeah, gives you
You're
that
learning.
perspective. Hey, this is
Yeah.
all there is.
Yeah.
Be here
Just
now.
yeah. You're letting go of the concepts.
It's all senses.
It's all senses. This
All senses
this
versus thought. Hey,
yeah. And we have just as a Western society just put a concept on absolutely everything.
Mm.
And I think, yeah, that's, I don't know, there is some promise in it. I think obviously it helps us feed a lot more people, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Obviously technology and stuff, but
But we're not
yeah,
separate. Like as David G would say, we're all stardust.
we're all
We
stardust,
literally
man.
came from a sun. Like
Yeah,
is
yeah.
energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
And yeah, I love
That's
have
what
you heard?
science is. It's the Big Bang. Like
Yeah,
we're all just the same thing. We're all just stardust,
we're all just stardust,
which is crazy,
which
right?
is energy. Yeah. Have you heard of the acorn theory?
No, enlighten me.
He touches on it briefly, but he doesn't say the story. Um, and it's about potential
Yeah.
and how there's millions of acorns. Like you go into a rainforest, right, that has acorn trees, and there's millions of acorns. And then that came from a huge, like 200-meter tall acorn tree. And then one of them has the right conditions, has the right thing to be planted, gets the right amount of water, and this little acorn grows into this over hundreds of years, grows into this huge tree, right? And now relate that to us, where we have this energy inside of us to grow into this massive 200-meter tall acorn tree. Like it's there, the potential is there. It's all energy. But if we don't feed ourselves correctly or, nurture ourselves in the right way, we will never be able to access that potential. And through focus, I think is a big play to that practice of just unlocking that potential, that energy within you.
It's
That,
that
yeah,
attention too, isn't it? Because that acorn is putting all its attention into that one thing to
yeah,
grow.
yeah. And I don't want to go too like
Do it.
anti-Western, but and like a capitalistic structure thrives on you being small and being this little acorn and making you feel down and that you need this new iPad to grow into this 200-meter tree. But I promise you, it's not going to make you grow into this 200-meter tree. Like you need this job. You don't. All right. You just need to sit within. That's all you need and
How
cultivate that energy, man. Just feel it running through your veins and then feel the love, feel the kindness, and then push it outwards. Give it to other people. And I think that's how you become 200 meters tall. Give it to other people. Be loving kindness.
everything you'll ever need is already within you.
It's all there, man. You're the acorn. Like, imagine being that little acorn and looking up at that 200-meter tree. Like, same amount of energy.
Mhm.
Crazy. I love that.
Powerful. It's
Powerful.
crazy that like we're just sold on more, 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 do.
Yep.
And it's less,
Yep. Yep. And
less,
same
but
with
it's
like,
where you put your energy. It's not how much you do,
yep.
it's
We all
where
have the
you put
exact
it.
same amount of energy. The
Hmm.
exact same where you put it. And I like the idea of being planted too. Like, the deeper an acorn is planted, the higher it can go,
Really?
be sprouted. Well,
Yeah,
that's just
that's the idea,
me assuming, but like you're not gonna grow 200-meter tall if you're like this low beneath the
Yeah.
surface. But yeah, I mean, just like there's just like that saying of like the deeper you are, the stronger your roots.
Yeah.
The deeper you go, the lower you go.
Yeah. It's like even like some days like my brain would just go, don't worry about meditating, man. We got this. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just that it's just that quick dopamine hit. Is like that
Mm,
being like a quick like an acorn being buried very close to the surface. Hey, like
mm,
don't worry about it. Like it'll.
mm.
But if I sit and I do the deep meditation, dig those roots in,
Yeah.
and my
And sit with
day is
it.
just full of so much more potential.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I have the day is still a day time wise. It's still I might do the same. I might show the same amount of energy, right?
Mm,
but it's not coming from a place of guilt, shame, anxiety, fear.
Mm,
I'm actually present.
mm.
Like I'm
Because you've
actually
already sat
there.
with the guilt, right?
Exactly. I'm seeing the
Yeah.
world through a different lens.
Mm, mm. I love so I've been reading The Power of Vulnerability, about time,
So
right?
good.
So
Brene
good.
Brown.
Renee Brown, what a
Yeah, you're the one
person.
that came up with the name for this podcast and you
Yeah.
hadn't even read.
Um, Shame is a focus on self. Guilt is a focus on action. So if we do an action and feel shame, the following thought process or pattern would be, I'm a piece of shit,
Mm,
right? We do
mm,
something, you've talked about remorse before. If we do something that, yeah, didn't benefit society, that didn't help the world in a good way, we can feel guilt and remorse. And that's okay because it's not you, right? It's just a
mm,
feeling that's come up, and you are this source of energy that recognized that this wasn't beneficial for the world. And how cool is that,
mm,
right? You can see if this action was good for the world or not. And then you can literally, if you don't get lost in the shame cycle, do it differently next time,
mm.
which is so cool.
Takes a bit to get there though.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's
100%.
why you need to practice, man.
Yeah,
So
and the
you're not getting there.
separation.
Yeah. You're not getting there from a
Yeah,
place of shame and guilt, are you? You're
no,
already in that cycle.
yeah,
And yeah, that little bit of awareness that meditation
yeah,
gives you that perspective, hey, which is then like, yeah, well, next time, like you said, that's a powerful thing. Like
yeah.
you can heal the world by healing yourself
Mm,
because you heal yourself, then you're going out into the world
yeah.
as a healed being. Like you're not coming from a place of,
I
you
love that
can,
so much.
yeah, like if I'm feeling shame, man,
Mm,
I'm going to try and project that onto someone else because
yeah,
I don't want to feel that,
yeah,
like,
proper.
yeah, it's a horrible feeling.
Yeah,
But if I can sit with that and let it go and
mm,
learn from that thought process and not get attached to it.
mm,
My next conversation is like, whoa, man, I did that.
mm,
I can sit with someone else. Like,
mm,
takes a lot of a presence to do that. And so instead of then, that's what manifestation is, isn't it? Like people might not believe you can manifest these big lives, right? You can, you know, I said I want this particular thing. I want to like,
yeah,
I want someone to give me $2 million and build me a retreat and manifest
mm,
it, right?
mm,
If I'm going around living in my guilt and shame, it's not going to be the energy that people are looking for, is it? Like, but if I'm putting out an energy of love and acceptance of myself in that
mm,
moment, who knows? You're going to attract that energy,
yep,
aren't you?
yep, yep. Agreed. I think one thing I want to touch on that is like, um, maybe manifesting and attracting that energy. Like, I think you have to be quite certain on what you want.
Yeah. So even then, I like
Like,
paused at what I wanted because I don't want
yeah,
to say it because I want to play small. I'm too scared
yeah,
to tell the universe what I want. And it changes all the time. That's the thing. Like, but I
yeah.
do want to have a place, a community
Mm,
where people can come
mm,
and can all meditate, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's just where people come and learn and want to evolve.
mm. That's beautiful. You've obviously found a very special place within yourself, and you want to share that.
Yeah, scary though. I could just sit here in my room and never do anything.
Mm,
And never be vulnerable.
mm. Imagine that thought on your deathbed.
Yeah, what's scarier, right?
What's scarier? Yeah.
Regret never doing it or
Mm. Yeah.
or like the potential that I might have some rejection.
Mm. Oh.
Someone,
Mm.
I'm so scared of rejection that I choose
I've been
not to live
toying.
my life the way I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been toying this with a bit with this recently. And it's so easy to face rejection when I separate myself and um I guess approach the situation as overcoming fear instead of being rejected. Because that's my intention at the
Mm,
moment, just
yeah.
facing fear, and no matter what I do, what rejection I face, it's a win.
The power of intention, right?
Yeah, it's a
Because
win,
that,
man. Like I can't
yeah,
lose.
but that's the programming, right? You become aware and
Mm,
you've set an intention, which is you trying to change
mm,
a piece of software in your brain that goes, rejection equals
mm.
failure equals you're not going to be loved, you're not going to be
But it
fit in,
doesn't.
versus failure now equals conquering a fear.
Yeah,
It means growth.
yeah,
That's a massive shift in your programming.
yeah. It's cool, right?
Yeah, which is what
Different
we all can
perception.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
It's not
crazy that that's happened only over the last few months. Like doing this podcast and practicing and talking about this stuff has been so powerful
mm,
for me, even just in the relationships around me. Holy.
yeah, I've had a few um I guess, especially because last week the last episode I was really vulnerable.
Mm,
Um yeah, then talking to people that have listened to that
mm,
can just feel like the brick wall that comes up and like the tense, and but as soon as you talk about it, because you
mm,
can't hide anymore, right?
mm,
You can't hide behind that wall.
mm.
Yeah, the realization that once you do it, it's all okay.
Yeah. And if you can show yourself love for that, imagine what you can give someone else, man. Like that's cool.
Powerful.
That's so powerful. Like if you can show yourself love for making a mistake, wow. And get rid of someone else's shame, wow. That's cool. Oh
Thank
yeah.
you.
One thing I want to run into, um, David G talks about the 6 stages of a present moment experience, and I would like to see if you relate. So it starts off with a settling. We must be comfortable and feel safe, and this is when we're sitting down and taking slow, deep breaths in. It's obviously the start. And then we can start to witness, we can see our breath and we can observe it. It's happening. We can see it happening in our mind. Then eventually our mind will drift um, after holding attention for any period of time. No matter how good you are at it, it will start to drift onto something else. And then we judge that. So when we catch ourselves, or the mind catches ourselves, not with the breath, which was what our intention was, we are not a good meditator anymore. We are not doing what
I
we're
just
meant to be
drifted off within
doing.
10 seconds then.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then the
Uh,
judgments come, right? You're not a good meditator. And then one place that I always get stuck at is just surrendering to that process, watching that all unfold as if it's all exactly what's supposed to happen. The drifting comes, the judging comes, and then you surrender to that process. You let it happen.
so powerful because, especially for someone that's just starting to meditate,
Mm,
it's not about having a good meditation or not
no,
having thoughts.
no,
It's
it's
just
not.
being with your experience.
Yep. And
If
that's,
that's daydreaming the whole time, then that's
yeah.
daydreaming the whole time. That's your experience.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. And yeah, he says once you cultivate that surrendering. That's when you find stillness amongst the chaos, because your mind's never going to be quiet.
No.
But it's that stillness, that continuity amongst the chaos that really drives us forward. Really gives us some transformation and really helps us connect to a deeper part of ourselves. And that's a great feeling. Being with that
That's
soul.
so good. That's
Yeah.
powerful. That's
Yeah.
really good. David
Yeah.
G, man, he just
Yeah.
so good.
Agreed. This book, we're gonna have some
Yeah.
incredible conversations
I
from
want to
this
get
book.
the paperback because I'm just listening to it on Audible, but yeah, I need to sit down and highlight it. Yeah.
So good. There's like
So I pay much
exercises
more
in there too.
attention when I do that. Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, if people want to start meditating,
Yeah.
I think Insight Timer is a very good app. It's free.
Yeah.
Any length of time. There'd be over like 50,000 different meditations. And if you don't like one day, try another one the next day. If you don't like that, you'll eventually have a bank of 10 that you like. And you
Explore.
can, yeah, and just
Yeah.
try new ones. Could be
Yeah.
for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And you set yourself a goal each morning. Could be 2, 3 minutes.
Play around with it. Play around with what thoughts come up. Play around with
Yeah.
what experiences, what feelings come up. It's
And
all
like the
just like,
excuses. Listen to the
yeah,
excuses your brain will give to not do
yeah,
it.
yeah. And just let it happen.
Yeah.
You're not here to fight away the excuses. You're just here to be still, be with them, do
And let
exactly what you
us
were doing.
and let us know about your experience.
Yeah, love to hear.
Love to hear. And if you really want to go deep, look up David G on Insight Timer. David G. J-I. It's J-I, isn't it?
Yeah,
J-I.
yeah, some great meditations and some great courses too.
Mm,
Like 40-day ones. Cool.
thank
Lovely
you.
chatting once again.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I was struggling today, you can probably tell, but still always helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.